Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here at 7 on the Wax. Today is Thursday. It's June 19th. I'm Caitlin Francis.
I'm Caitlin Nuclo. A lot to get to from overnight, but first we want to talk about the weather because we have a first alert. Heat and storms making this a tricky weather day. Let's get right to meteorologist Scot Haney helping us plan the day.
Hello, pretty ladies.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
All right, good. A little fog out there this morning. Not so good. First alert, live radar dry. As we take a look at the severe weather threat, this is level 3. This is something we don't see too often here in the Northeast. That's not good. Level 2 for us here in Connecticut, level 1 for Northeast and Southeast portions of the state. That means the potential for some strong storms does exist. What are we talking about? Lightning, thunder, damaging wind gusts, large hail, even an isolated tornado somewhere in the region, okay? Today is the first alert weather day. Heat indices between 95 and 100 degrees. That's hot. And the severe storm threat does loom on the horizon. That's going to have an impact on outdoor plans. Today, 11 to 8, heat advisory in effect for Hartford, Holland, and Wyndham. And that means the heat index, again, between 95 and 100 degrees. There's also an air quality alert in effect for Fairfield, New Haven, Middlesex counties from 11 to 11. That means the ozone at the ground level is going to get a little tough. Those in the sensitive categories, you want to seek the air conditioning today. Everybody should be seeking the air conditioning during the day today. And we are getting a little bit better. No more goose eggs in New Haven, Chester, but it's still only a quarter of a mile. Still goose eggs at Oxford Airport. That means the fog is tough this morning. All right, so here are your headlines. Heat, humidity, a storm threat today. Primarily a dry weekend, maybe a brief shower or thunderstorm Sunday morning. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, first alert weather days for the heat indices over the 100-degree mark. Boy, is it going to get hot around here. All right, I'll have your full forecast, your extended outlook coming up in just a bit. In the meantime, Kate, good morning.
All right, good morning, Scott. Let's get you an update here. Scott and I have been talking about this since we came on air here at 4:30. This fog is really tough across a good swath of the state here this morning. The shoreline especially. We're taking a look 95 north and southbound by East Street in New Haven. You can see visibility drastically reduced, even down towards the pavement level. Not doing as bad through Hartford, but you can still see some of those foggy, hazy conditions. 91 north and southbound. Waterbury, same story. 84 east and westbound by the Mixmaster. A live look in Middletown along Route 9, right along the Connecticut River. And in Meriden, you can see a little bit of fog there. Still hanging tough. 91 north and southbound. Thankfully, no crashes. Lots of daytime construction expected. Let's leave you with your drive times. Actually doing pretty well here this morning as you're heading out the door. Let's check out your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, we're celebrating a big morning here in our state as the best golfers in the world set to tee off here at the Travelers Championship very soon. And today, players and fans are going to be forced to endure some sweltering conditions.
I feel like every single year it's always very hot for Travelers, but thankfully there is a team working to make sure that everyone's staying safe. Your reporter Roger Susanna joins us now live from the TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, right up the street from us here in Rocky Hill with everything we need to know before we head out, right? Hey, Raj.
Good morning, ladies. Hope you're doing fantastic on this Thursday morning. We definitely know you're right. It's going to be sweltering hot here at the Travelers Championship. Now, earlier we showed you a huge team of EMTs. You can see that team has shrunk, but that's only because about half of the EMTs and other healthcare professionals are now fanned out across this great course, and we know that many more are also on the move, as we've seen folks driving around the golf courts and bicycles, again, all with the idea of keeping everybody as safe as possible. And listen, when you watch this tournament, which again begins at 8 o'clock this morning, just know that there's a large group of people, about 60 in all, that are ready to swoop in and help. We mentioned there's at least 5 car teams, 3 bike patrols, and medical personnel posted at every single hole. But listen, if you have tickets today, first of all, you're very lucky, but there are 2 things that some of the EMTs say you really need to bring today. One is a refillable water bottle, and there are refillable water stations all across the course, so know that. Also, bring an umbrella. That will help you from deal with any kind of thunderstorms this afternoon, and also can give you a little bit of a respite from this heat by providing some much-needed shade. We're going to have a lot more from the Travelers Championship throughout the day here on the Wax and on Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Reporting live in Cromwell, I'm your reporter, Roger Susanna, and I'll send it back to you.
All right, Roger, thank you. Stay cool out there. Remember, Channel 3 is your home for the Travelers Championship. We'll have live coverage from the course throughout the day today.
Yeah, everything you need to know as well. Be sure to tune in to our Inside the Travelers special at 7 o'clock over on Channel 3 and 7:30 right here on the Wax.
All right, we're on top of breaking news here from overnight on the Berlin Turnpike. That's where a car fire threatened to spread to the nearby Highview Hotel in Newington.
Your reporter Owen Kingsley has all the details from the scene.
Several people were pretty rattled this morning, waking up to those sirens and emergency vehicles here at the Highview Motel. It was a quick response, though, as crews looking to put out that car fire just feet away from the motel building itself. Now, crews arriving originally just after 3 o'clock this morning, and they had their work cut out for them. The motel sits on top of a steep hill with a narrow passage around back. Firefighters couldn't get any trucks back here, so they had to begin connecting fire hoses just to reach. A massive response shut down part of the Berlin Turnpike until crews knew more about the scale of the fire.
Because of the fact that they said it was so close to the building, we didn't know what we had until somebody was on the scene to actually give them a visual. The biggest thing, we're on a hill, and if you notice that a pretty steep hill that we're on, this is part of Cedar Mountain.
No injuries have been reported. The fire marshal telling us that fire beginning in the engine compartment of the car and that it was driving on the road and had just pulled into the motel's parking lot minutes before that fire started. Your reporter in Newington, Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
7:07 now, developing story for you this morning in Glastonbury. Take a look at this house. This is where police say they uncovered a gruesome case of hoarding. Police say they found the remains as well of a missing woman under piles of trash. They also say inside that home were some of the worst hoarding conditions they've ever seen. 73-year-old Mary Notarangelo was first reported missing last July. She wasn't found until February after work crews found her remains beneath a pile of debris. They had to use machinery to get to her. Now, they say the home was searched several times before that body was eventually found. The state medical examiner wasn't able to determine how she died. The woman was a retired Bridgeport police detective.
Well, we're also following some breaking news from overnight in the Middle East. President Donald Trump continues to weigh whether the U.S. will become involved in the Israel and Iran conflict. Overnight, things have intensified. Israel has given orders to the military to increase strikes against targets in Iran. This comes after an Iranian missile slammed into a main hospital in southern Israel earlier today. Also, new this morning, CBS News has learned President Trump approved plans to attack. That's according to senior U.S. intelligence and defense sources. Trump says he might not reach a decision on attacking until last minute, but the State Department says it has already started evacuating non-essential personnel and their families from the U.S. Embassy in Israel. It's warning Americans to leave Iran now.
Just about 7:09. We're going to take you out. It is improving in Hartford. The fog is starting to lift, which is some good news. We'll take you right now to Middletown, where visibility. So again, the fog's starting to lift out there. And here's Torrington getting a little bit better with mostly overcast conditions. Mostly overcast conditions are going to give way to mostly sunny skies. The atmosphere destabilizes, a front moves close to the area, and that touches off showers and thunderstorms. This is 4 p.m. Notice the dots. Notice the storms that start materializing throughout the north and east. And then right through about 10 o'clock at night, we do run the risk for scattered showers and thunderstorms. They should tend to fall apart. And tomorrow and Saturday look like better days. Your forecast for today calls for temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s. It is going to be a hot day. Now, this doesn't take into account the humidity, all right? When you combine the relative humidity with the temperatures, heat indices today are going to be between 95 and 100 degrees. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they all look pretty good, but then we turn our attention to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. We're talking about record heat, high humidity. It's going to feel like it's 100 degrees plus here in the state Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So 3 tough days of weather, and that could lead to heat-related illnesses. If you are one that succumbs to the heat, you're going to want to stay inside Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because the air conditioning is going to help. All right, let's take a look at the heat risk for today. We're at moderate level. So that means, again, temperatures over the 90-degree mark with heat indices between 95 and 100 degrees.